Hey, what's going on YouTube? Chuckles again with another Hearthstone deck highlight. As you can see, haven't done one in a while, so I figured I would reach out now that League of Explorers is pretty much over. I have beat it and got all those cards, so today I want to talk about my Reno Druid. It's kind of just a deck that I threw together, and for some reason it's been doing great, and it's extremely fun to play. So let's go ahead and take a look at the curve real quick. So as you can see, I'm running 0 zeros, 3 1-drops, 5 2s, 3 3s, 5 4s, 5 5s, 4 6s, and then 5 7 pluses. So the entire, strategy with this build is to not have 2 of any one card. That way Reno Jackson always goes off and it can just save your skin. So let's just go ahead and jump right into it. So starting off the list is my 1-drop Living Roots. Choose 1, deal 2 damage, or summon 2 1/1 saplings. Good for an opener hand. Good for like a turn 2 or a turn 3 if they drop a 2 health minion to kill it, or if you're like you don't have anything but late game in your hand because you had a bad mulligan, you can get your 2 1/1 saplings out and just start putting a little bit of pressure. Sorry about that. Next we have the Raven Idol. Choose 1, discover a minion, or discover a spell. I see myself usually choosing to discover a spell. It's always good to have like a second Swipe or a second Savage Roar or even a second Force of Nature, something along those lines. So I tend to go with the spell on this one, but for 1 mana cost and just to fill up the deck, it works pretty well. Next we have the Zombie Chow, 1 mana for a 2/3 creature. Death Rattle, restore 5 health to the enemy hero. Again, it's just for early pressure. Starting off the 2-drops, I have Wild Growth, gain an empty mana crystal. Good for ramping up, good to get your later game or your mid-range creatures out earlier. Wrath, 2 mana, deal 3 damage to a minion or 1 damage and draw a card. Good for a small board clear, I guess. It's also good for cycling. Next we have the Darnassus Aspirant, 2 mana for a 2/3 creature again. Battlecry, gain an empty mana crystal. Death Rattle, lose a mana crystal. So it's good for ramping up to your mid-range or late game earlier than normal. If they kill it off, then you're out of mana crystal, but you had the mana crystal the whole time it was in play, so it works out really well. Haunted Creeper, good for a lot of different things. Keeps up board pressure. Essentially gives you 3 1-attack minions in essence. So it's just good for, clearing out the leftovers. Ironbeak Owl, 2 mana for a 2/1 beast. Silence a minion. Good for getting around taunts if you do happen to have Force of Nature, Savage Roar in your hand. Good for like Tyrion or whatever. Whatever the case may be, a silence in the deck works wonders. Savage Roar, of course, a staple in any Druid deck. Give your characters +2 attack this turn. Combo that with Force of Nature to finish them off. Next 3-drop we go with is a Big Game Hunter. Destroy a minion with attack of 7 or more. Mainly you use that for Dr. Boom, Alex Draza, whatever the case may be. 1 Shade of Naxxramas. Stealth at the start of your turn, gain +1/+1, 3 mana for a 2/2. The point is to put it down on turn 3 or turn 4, maybe even turn 5. Get it out as early as possible and then just leave it sit until you have Force of Nature, Savage Roar in your hand, and then have your Shade just kind of help finish off your opponent. 1 Swipe, 1 Keeper of the Grove. I find myself using this right on turn 4 to deal 2 damage a lot more than the Silence, just because I know in the back of my mind that I have an Ironbeak Owl in the deck, and sometimes killing off a minion is more important than silencing one later on. 1 Kazan Mystic. In the meta with Freeze Mage or Face Hunter or Paladin, Secret Paladin, taking one of the enemy secrets a lot of the times is so rage-inducing that you'll see a lot of people conceding the moment they put out their ice block and then you steal it from them. So 4 mana for a 4/3, take control of a random enemy secret. That is wonderful in this particular deck. Piloted Shredder, just for sticky minionness. 4 mana for a 4/3 mech. Death Rattle, summon a random 2-cost minion. Every once in a while you'll get super lucky and get a Doomsayer out of it. Not all the time though, but either which way, it's a minion you gotta kill twice, so it works well when you don't have any duplicates in the deck. Next I run 1 Savage Combatant, 4 mana for a 5/4 beast, inspire, give your hero +2 attack this turn. Since we know we have Reno Jackson, since we know we have an anti-kill bot, and other stuff that can help heal, like our hero power gives us 1 armor, so on and so forth, you'll find yourself using your hero power and using your face to finish off quite a lot of minions, even some with 5 attack, 4 attack, whatever the case may be. It's just good to be able to have a little bit of synergy with that. So of course next, starting off the 5 drops, is the anti-kill bot, good for healing prior to your Reno Jackson. So you don't want to use Reno Jackson, let your health dwindle away, and then use heal bot. You want to use the heal bot prior to the Reno Jackson, because you want to use the Reno Jackson like at the very last moment. Next 5 drop we run is Druid of the Claw. I tend to play it in taunt mode pretty much every time, unless I have Savage Roar, Force of Nature in my hand, or anything of the sort. Then it's pretty much taunt mode every time. Harrison Jones, good for Hunter, good for Paladin, Shaman even, in the meta with Face Shaman, that Stormforged Axe, or what is it, the Doomhammer. Harrison Jones is just wonderful. It also works really well against Warlocks who run Jiraxxus. So 5 mana for a 5/4, destroy your opponent's weapon and draw cards equal to its durability, so it also works for cycling. Lotheb. Lotheb is one of the cards that is kind of interchangeable. I like to run Lotheb just for Mage and Shaman. So Face Shaman will use a lot of spells to just dwindle you out, and they can catch you off guard and kill you before you even have a chance to slam your Reno Jackson. So Lotheb just kind of prolongs that 1 turn, which in my opinion is a good thing, but you could also get rid of Lotheb and throw something else in there if you wish, maybe another Silence. So the next 5 drop is Sludge Belcher. Again, just for stickiness, gotta kill the minion twice, which is always appreciated in my opinion. Starting off the 6s, we have Force of Nature. Again, Force of Nature, Savage Roar, if you have that in your hand, that's just pretty much an automatic win mode. Thaurissan, so again, another Lotheb type card. 6 mana for a 5/5 at the end of your turn, reduce the cost of cards in your hand by 1. I like to use Emperor Thaurissan, but again, he's interchangeable in this because the curve is so nice. Next 6 drop, we have Reno Jackson, which the entire deck revolves around him. 6 mana for a 4/6. Battlecry, if your deck contains no more than 1 of any card, fully heal your hero. So it's best to wait and use him as late as possible. So 2 health, 3 health, even if you're down to 1 health, that's when you want to slam your Reno Jackson. Sylvanas, arguably one of the better 6 drops in the entire game. 6 mana for a 5/5. Death Rattle, take control of a random enemy minion. I love this card. Like, it's pretty much in every one of my decks, so it's just like an auto include for me. Starting off the 7s, we have the Lore and the War. Lore I tend to use to draw cards, not to restore the 5 health unless I absolutely need to. So 7 mana for a 5/5. Again, I use it for the cycling. Ancient of War, I tend to play in taunt mode just because a 10 health taunt is pretty ridiculous. Dr. Boom is in every deck I create, every deck I play, so why not just put him in this one as well. And then we have the Broccoli, the Ironbark Protector. 8 mana for an 8/8 taunt. Again, great for late game, just to help kind of stabilize. And then last but not least is our only 9 drop, which is Ysera, which creates more cards in your hand so you don't run out of tempo. So believe it or not, the deck does work very well. I don't know if I've seen a couple decks like this on like Hearthstone and Tempo Storm and stuff, but nothing quite the exact same. I run like Kazan Mystic and a lot of people don't, Ironbark Protector, a lot of people don't, Lotheb, so on and so forth. But for me, this deck works really well and it's super fun to play. So I hope you guys enjoy the video. I hope you have a lot of success with the deck. If you did enjoy it, please leave a like, comment, subscribe, and I will see you guys in the next one. Have a good one.